worries don't pay. Plenty people in the world today don't realize that worries don't pay. Resting the worries upon your shoulder, only bringing you older and older. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I said to tell them, never ever worry. Don't mind how you're suffering bad. Never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. Always consider somebody suffering more than you.
XM, we're taking travel and tourism to new heights. Here we boast spacious check-in areas, 10 passport control points, comfortable departure lounges, and an exciting new airport mall. Finally, there's an airport in the Caribbean that takes your travel plans as seriously as you do. Princess Juliana International Airport. The experience will move you.
Welcome to the Late Night Show. Hope everything is okay. Hope everything is all right. Of course, I'm your host, Andrew Drake, and we continue to be on the road for, of course, the end of the summer. What's happening on the lovely island of St. Martin? Of course, we continue to fight over things that don't belong to us. And no, I'm not talking about St. Martin. I'm talking about campaign songs. Yes, the topic today is campaign songs, kids. And this is what gets to me in St. Martin is that, and this is why I say it's not a real place, because when we do things, we focus on the worst things of the worst. Okay, so let me give you some context. During the DP Congress, the UP Congress, first they had the UP Congress, they released a song which they made into their own, meaning they borrow it from international soca stars, and they made their own song. A week after, they had a promo for DP doing their sipping coffee show. So I have a sipping coffee show every Mondays on my 88 because they need to get to the people and no other radio stations want them. So they went and they start off a radio program on Monday where they talk about issues surrounding the DP. Of course, my favorite MPs, Auntie Sarah and MP Krisha Helaga Martin. Now, the UP used the song first. The DP then have their version to the song. And now the fight is on as to who the song belonged to. So let me give you the UP version first. And then afterwards, I'll give you the DP version. And then afterwards, I'll give you the real version. Because the song came out 6 months ago, people. So let's start off with the UP. Because they were first to come out with it.
We've been working and we've been striving to make life better for people in St. Martin. It's our obligation with no hesitation to fix this nation. That's our priority.
We'll try to never let let you down, my friend. You could depend on me, the United People's Party. Yes, we ready to create more opportunities for citizens in Martin. We never take you for granted. In government, we gon' work like we never work, fight like we never fight, push like never before. Cause we love Martin, all for a better life. When you dissatisfied, we emotions run high, and that is why election time we calling us Martin, to come out and represent. If you really love we gon' vote you be, let me vote you be, we gon' vote you be.
Okay, so that's just a sample. We're not going to do the whole thing because they ain't paying for that. Secondly, during an exclusive listen to their song, which is a ripoff from the Up song, who ripped it off from the international soca stars. This is the Up version. This is the DP version. You see, I even getting confused because it's crazy that we're even talking about this. It's crazy that this is even a topic. But this is the DP version of the Up version that was borrowed from the international version. This is the DP version.
I'm just going to play really loud so the live people can hear it because they don't have a feed.
Nation of generations with real true vision. I know you remember.
There is a question. You want to take a question?
Give light to people so they could move on the things we thrived on. I know you remember it.
So don't you worry, surely God have no fear. You know we always stay true, always working for you. That's why it's time for us to come back together. The machine is here, and legacy that's so strong. We'll never take it for granted. That's why we promise from today we gon' live like we always did. Fix the economy, focus on what you really need. Baby, you got no worries, no worries. True experience is what we rely on. Shining like a shining bright, come together, unified, bring it back to the core. That's why we got time to fight. Baby, you got no worries, no worries. Dream machine getting ready to soar. Rolling on for my house.
First of all, I didn't even know Auntie Sarah could have danced like that. Can we play that again, please? Because what? You see Auntie Sarah? I was like, yeah, go Sarah. Oh, that's gonna be comedy gold for the upcoming election season. Oh, I gotta listen. I want to see that again, please. Let me see her dancing again, please. You see Auntie Sarah with her shoulders? You see her with her shoulders? Did anybody see her shoulders moving? I love it. Now, just because I like trouble, I'm going to use the Up version and put it with DP, two members of Parliament dancing. Let's go.
I'm just going to play really loud so the live people can hear it because they don't have a feed. There is a question. You want to take a question?
Give light to people so they could move on to the things we thrived on. I know you remember.
So don't you try to never let you down, my friend. You could depend on the United People's Party. Yes, ready to create more opportunities for citizens in Martin. We never take you for granted.
It's the same thing. Oh, I got. Oh, anyway, you get the idea. One is DP come home to DP. The next one is up saving the country. Still, the original song is from Skinny Fabulous and Nadia Baxon. So this came out again 6 months ago. The question is, who ripped it off better? Let's go into the video itself. Welcome to the Late Night Show. We have a special show for you, as always. We're going to go out with the original song so that nobody gets confused that St. Martin continues to be a great place of ripping off songs for the political season. I hope that all you don't go hard when it comes to who the songs belong to, because it don't belong to none of you. And all you don't want Skinny Fabulous knocking on your door going like, oh, so it's yours? Bring the royalties. Please run that, run the bumbleclad royalties, please. St. Martin, it could be a real place, maybe someday. Maybe someday. Again, and the DP they're taking credit for something again that it ain't their own. I mean, you're taking off from the harbor already, man. Jesus Christ. Just give somebody something. We'll be right back.
I've been patient and I've been waiting. Call me stubborn, but I can get over it. You left and never say goodbye. Those tears I cried, no, I can get over it.
So don't you ever let me down again. Cause I'm depending on you, so you better come through this time. Please hear my cry, and if I ever let you down, my friend, it was a misunderstanding. So if I took you for granted, don't I promise from today I go.
Welcome back to the Late Night Show. Of course, we have our interview segment and we are joined by, I should say official candidate. Almost official. After postulation, it's going to be official.
Yeah.
But of course, Miss Edie.
Edie, yes.
Edie. Here in Fame.
Yes.
Okay, I say it good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure always being here with you.
You always start to laugh every time you come on.
Yeah, we always have something to laugh about. If you don't
always.
laugh, you're not happy.
You're not happy.
Okay.
What is going on after the Congress? How you feel?
I feel really good. After the Congress, I feel really, really good. A lot of people approached me. A lot of people spoke to me and said, like, I'm a breath of fresh air. I'm something new. So it seems positive. It looks positive, but you never know until it's election day.
It's election day,
Yeah,
of
because
course.
people say a lot of things, but
Yeah.
you don't know until it's election day. But it's positive.
One of the things we had to notice about the up Congress was, of course, the bikers. You know,
Yes.
like you had the bikers representing. They came specially for you, man.
And also for Akeem.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, because they're seeing that this time there's somebody who does it from the heart, not to take any benefit out of it or, because there's campaigning and stuff. But I'm doing it from the heart and they see it. My son is a biker. I always have biker boys at my house. I go to the French side to visit them because my child is friends with them. They took my child in like family. So it's something that I see they are lack of. So I decided like, hey, this time let's do it. I'm doing for my kid. I'm doing for his friends. I'm doing for a whole generation that right now it's the it thing to have a bike, to have a scooter, to be active in that sport and that art. So I'm doing it with a good purpose.
How do you deal with the criticism by the other candidates and the other parties, basically saying this is not something we need to focus on now? Why are we focusing on something this now? We could focus on some other things, but Edie is focusing on racetracks and bikers. Why are we doing that?
Because I'm focusing also on it because it is a major issue right now. Like if you drive in traffic, how many times you're not cussing between your teeth because these guys are all over in the place.
You gotta slow down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is an issue that is affecting us as drivers right now. So I'm tackling that. But also I'm doing that because they villainize these boys and women a lot. You're a biker, you're a thief, you're a delinquent, you're this, you're that. Where there's so many professionals that are bikers, so many guys that go to school, that have a job, that do stunting. So we are villainizing a group just because we want to feel better than them.
The perception.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we like to say, like, we have so much priorities, we have to do this. Have you done it? No. You haven't done anything.
Yeah.
And now that I'm choosing one topic that's dear to my heart, besides other things also that I'm doing, it becomes an issue. Like, why are you focusing on this? Do what you have to do, make the change, and let me do me.
Now, of course, after the most talked about Parliament meeting, where you were very passionate, you laid out the plans. How far is that going along?
Okay, it's going in a good direction. I had a meeting with the minister. It looks promising. It looks that we can get it done. We just have to work together. It's an issue of everybody putting their pride aside, and it's going on like now. Like everybody is really concentrating on let's get this done for the youth, for the people that are really into it. So I'm seeing a very positive light. I'm not going too much into details, but people are now reacting to hey, we need to do something for these boys. We need to do something for these women. We need to do something for the drag cars because we have a lot of talented riders right now. They're doing the drag thing. They're going to St. Kitts.
But you know, it's kind of scary that you're doing all of this and you're getting so much progress and you didn't even get elected yet. What's this? What's going on?
Because I'm special. No, I'm just a passionate person, and
Once you set your goal on something,
I set my goal, it won't stop me.
Yeah.
You know, I have to hit my head to be like, oh, hold on, how to do it different. But when I see that is in a benefit of a bigger group, why not? And my child is one of them, and I do everything for my children. So that's just the passion that I got with it, and I grabbed it. It's just like it has a lot of effect also when you see when you do things to give people chance to grow in their talent, to perform their art. There are opportunities out there that they can conquer.
Yeah.
And if we just ignore them, we're limiting them also to what their capability is.
Yeah, because like you said, in other islands, it's actually focused on.
It's actually focused on. Look at Stacia.
Yeah.
It's getting Bonaire, which almost has less people, is having a drag strip. So it's something that's been going on in the Caribbean. It brings in money for the economy, especially when you have events. Remember, you have cars coming from Miami, Antigua, St. Kitts, all over Puerto Rico, Cuba, you name it. It brings people in.
No, justice also is close to your heart.
Yes.
And you get some flack for the fact that you also stick your nose into justice, and they're like, but why Edie is all over the place? Please set the record straight that you don't necessarily have to be in one sector in order to be effective.
Okay, my passion, as I say, is social, the social area. Justice is part of social. A lot of people that don't come out of poverty end up in the justice system, right? To be honest, my dad has been in the justice system. My dad has been a drug addict. He passed away because of drugs. I have family that suffered of that. I have people close to me that didn't get an opportunity and ended up in jail or ended up dead so we are acting in the society like, oh, we never know anybody that went to jail. Oh no, we don't know people who are drug addicts. We act so as if it cannot happen to us.
Yeah.
And if we continue acting like that, we're never going to help and we're never going to get a better justice system.
Correct.
So when it hits close to me, when I have a stepmom that is working in a prison, is getting sick, now she is off leave, she had heart problems because of the stress that the prison system is causing, and I have friends that work in prison, I have friends that are police that are complaining. I decided, you know what? Ain't nobody talking about it. I'm gonna write about
You go
it.
right about
So
it.
I wrote about it. And instead of what I noticed is instead of politicians pay attention to the problems and act, oh, everybody feeling attacked. I'm in my feelings.
Yeah.
Edie is attacking me.
Yeah.
Well, Edie is not attacking you. Edie is bringing forward the problems that they are telling me, Edie, I want you to write this. How am I getting this information out if it's not them telling me?
Yeah. And especially setting the record straight, because you get on one side, you get the Justice Ministry stating that there's no problems. It's just the young ones complaining because they don't like the supervisors and the people that are there at the Customs Department, for example.
Oh, yeah.
Therefore, it's just a bunch of complainers. That's why they didn't put their name to it. It's not real. The issues are being overdreven.
Overdreven,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Which is not true. And that's why I said when I wrote the first article, I didn't write it on their, like saying on their behalf as an anonymous writer. I wrote the letter for them. They gave me the information. They were like, listen, we are not good in writing. I want you to write this letter with this point and send it out to the ministry. So only thing I did is I wrote the letter with the information they gave me. Now, the letter went out to the minister. It didn't go out to Mr. Franklin, to Bernardina.
Yeah.
It didn't went out to him. It went out to the minister, but he felt entitled to answer.
Yeah.
So when you answer and then you bring me in it, it's just doing my job of writing the letter, telling that I'm a liar. No, then I come out.
Of course.
Then you're calling out the beast. You know what I'm saying? So then the custom agents felt a certain way, and they were like, no, Edie, we will not accept this. So they gave me the proof.
The proof.
So if I send out a letter, if I send out pictures, that is supposed to tell you that it's not me. It's I'm writing about the pain and the grievances they have that they want to be noticed.
Yeah.
And then it's sad that some parliamentarians feel good of attacking me again about where I work and why I'm writing a letter. I'm writing a letter because they asked me. If you were doing your job, they would have asked you to write it, but you're not.
You
So
you wouldn't have to write a letter.
exactly. You would have done your job and made sure it happened. But,
At the end of the day, as a concerned citizen, you have a right, and just like everybody else has a right to bring across anything that affects society
exactly.
out, so that solutions can be made.
Can be
Because at the
made.
end of the day, the uniforms are still the same up to now.
Exactly.
It's like something fixed right away.
But they have uniforms.
But they have
Remember,
yeah.
he said they have uniforms.
They have uniforms, it's just that they don't want to wear the new ones, just something like that. And again, yeah, you could take the minister's word for it, but at the end of the day, if the workers are the ones that come forward, especially since the minister says, and also the head of customs says that they have an open door policy, but nothing happens.
Exactly, because like I wrote, and what they told me is they don't trust him. So they're not going to him because they already saw certain things that happen, preference to certain workers, and a bunch of the way he talks to people. If you hear their stories, even on how they live to survive, and I cannot comprehend how a worker doing his job 10 years long is on an aspirant agent salary about 1900 in this economy. Sending out letters because I have to prove over years. And now you come and say, oh, I was going to help if you had come to me. He's been to you. Like, I mean, make it make sense. We are right now where people are so focused on their ego that we forget about the population and the hardworking people.
Yeah. And
We forget about that.
And especially the customs is not even part of the function book. They're only going to be part of the function book after it gets passed.
No,
That's that's
they
what
still
I
fall on
understand.
the LMA.
Yeah. As far as the campaign is concerned, Edie, talking to people so far, how do you stay focused on what is important to them? Because you can see so much things is affecting the community
The
today.
community.
And I'm sure they tell you, yeah, but you're in government, Edie, so
I'm not
take
in
it easy.
government
Well,
yet.
your party's in government, Edie, so
Yes, my
be careful.
party.
I don't know.
But I can't lie. My party, everything I do and everything that bothers me, I talk to.
Okay.
I talked to my leader about it. He said, Edie, if you feel a certain way, because what he does do, and I love that, is he respects my vision and my feelings. He's not like, oh no, we can't do it. Like he says always that when they tell him like, oh, don't touch that boy, don't touch, we touch it. So when I see an issue, I always tell him like, this is bothering, or this is going on, this is that. And he tells me, do what you need to do.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, yes, he's in government. Yes, Otley's doing a good job, but there are so many other issues that are not being brought to the forefront.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if I have to be quiet and pretend, that's not me. Then I won't go. Then
Yeah.
let me do what I do because
Yeah. Then you don't
I'm
have to do it
okay.
with no mandate.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
seeing everything that's going on, I am very vocal. You know that.
Yeah.
I don't hold my tongue, but I stay respectful.
You stay respectful.
Mhm.
Of course, the informing the population is very important,
Yes.
especially when it comes to voting. Did you get to convince people who seem to say, yeah, you know what, I ain't voting because it's a bunch of hoopla?
I had a lot. I had
that's
a
why I said
lot.
I can imagine, especially
I had a
preparing for the
lot.
Congress.
Yes, I had a lot that say they're not voting, it's all the same thing, blah, 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 blah. But I just have straight conversation with them about the issues that I stand for and about informing them that if you don't vote, you're voting for the people you don't want in.
Yeah.
So vote for the person, because here, remember, it's still individual votes.
Yeah.
The one with more votes goes in. Vote for the person that you think can make a change. That's what you have to do. Listen to each and everybody, and whatever you feel more comfortable with, or you feel that is a person that can make a change, there's where you post your vote. But you have to vote. That's what I tell everybody. It is important to vote. Don't say I'm not voting, because then you're voting for the person you don't want in.
The youngsters, especially. You just mentioned the drastic being one, but there's a lot of issues dealing with the youth in St. Martin, and all of a sudden, a bunch of people are dealing with programs and concern about the youth, especially since the school year started.
Yep.
When we've always had that issue.
Yes.
Anything in particular that you have planned for a program for youngsters?
You know, what I believe in, that we need to start approaching the American system where sports, it gets included in your education. So why? It gives a child the opportunity, if he excels in sport, to get scholarships in the States and have chance to become the next up and big thing. We do not invest in our children right now in sport in no kind of way. No kind of way.
None.
You know, I had to, out of my own pocket, help a child go to Holland to try out for a basketball team. That's not my responsibility, but I cannot see a talent go wasted.
Yeah.
And that is going on for years. Other thing, we are so not concentrating in the development of our children. Not everybody, not every child is interested in getting to become a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, you name it. There are children that are artistic. Their music, their acting, their painting. We need to develop, we need to learn how to develop each and every child's creativity and their interests, not implement what we think St. Martin needs.
Yeah.
For example, I know students that got, they didn't get their scholarship.
Yeah.
Because it's not on the list
not
of
on
the,
the list.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
If I'm not interested to
But I
become
think
a
the idea behind the list, from what I remember, was that, okay, we need, in order to build a country, we need to get a list of professionals of what we would need in the next 5 to 10 years. I think we've kind of lost the gist of it, because now it's 13 years in.
Yeah.
We 13 in.
Still,
Yeah,
we
13
don't have the
years.
professionals.
And we still have we don't have the professionals because by the time they come back, they're either overqualified
Yeah.
or you can't pay them or they either stay away.
Exactly.
So I think maybe that approach needs to change.
It needs to change, and also you need to start giving subsidy for students that come back. Okay, if you come back to work and say, Martin, I will eliminate a part of your debt, your financial aid. So we need to
Incentives.
do things, incentives to get them back, and we have to be competitive in the work. Market, employment market,
Yeah.
because we need to start competing with other countries when it comes to the pay we're giving on
salaries. Yeah.
because if I go in Holland and I get 4,000 euro, I ain't gonna work here for $2,000. I'm not gonna do it. I'm staying in Holland.
Yeah.
Live my good life.
Yeah.
So we need to balance it out. We have, for example, a university they're standing. I don't even want to go into it, but it's standing. It's not even looking pretty. If it was looking pretty, I would have said, okay. But we have it there standing. We are not looking for options to say, okay, this university, let me have students stay here and study. So let me go out and fight universities, which I can make a contract with and have a wing on the island.
Well, we have some. They do have some. They got, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
One lawyer course. Again, we're going to the same thing. We need to extend. We need to even have an art academy here. You know, because
Charlotte Brookson is one.
No, but that's high school.
Oh, okay.
We do university level. You know,
okay.
like so people can go and study here, become actors. I mean, we have a lot of talented St. Martiners out there in England, in New York, in stuff performing. We can do it here.
Yeah.
It's just we have to have our focus correct and see what are the things needed. We have so much children right now. The dropout rate is so high.
Yeah.
We don't care if they're dropout or not. If you are a mother of 4, 5, you can barely pay MPC to go for your children to go to school. It's $430 each child, multiplied by 4 or 5. And a salary that you get maybe $1,100 a month.
Correct. And then if you don't, and the thing is, if you don't complete it,
and then you can't go. You know,
you pay for the GED, and then that's it.
Yes. So why not start getting a system where, based on your salary, if you can't pay, you get an exception to get your child to school. You know, and the ones that can afford, they'll pay for the school. You know, there are things we need to start in balancing. Like, we have a high rate of illegal children. Super high. The UN law is every child has a right to an education, no matter the legal status.
Yeah. Compulsory education.
We're not doing it. Because when you go to school, what do they ask you? Inschrijvingbewijs, residency, if you can show that.
Some schools allow it. They have some.
It shouldn't be some schools allow it. It should be all schools allow it.
Correct.
You know?
Yeah.
You can't choose and pick and choose. It's not a child's fault that he ended up like in a place being illegal. It's the choice of the mother to look for a better life. Right? Yeah. So we now have immigration, which is another topic on my heart.
Yeah.
We have a pilot program. But we're picking up everybody.
Left, right, and center during the pilot program. I don't know that. That one I rant about. I rant too much about that. It's the craziest
Make
thing.
It make sense. I have business people that come to me and say, like, Edie, this is ridiculous. I went and applied. I get a book that I have to fill in for each and every of my employee. And then it's not guaranteed that they get. So
it's not exactly, and that's the thing that kills.
Nah, man,
we're
joking.
I know of some people that actually, some employers, they fill in for their worker, and then they put in, and then they was denied, and it was like, okay, so what now?
Well, exactly. We're gonna.
The persons have to leave.
Listen,
they working here 20 years. You tell me come, I reach. You tell me no?
It makes no sense. That shows that they're not even aligned with what they're trying to do. They're all over the place. You cannot tell me, come in, I'm giving you
All the information.
All the information, apply. We're going to do this. We're going to do this correct, you
Yeah.
know?
You don't have to
And
leave the island. Yeah. And then afterwards,
make it
yeah.
make sense.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things that don't make sense, and I'm trying. And then if you speak about it, then you're attacking them.
Yeah.
I'm seeing something that's not correct.
Yeah.
I'm telling you respectfully, do something about it. You don't have to feel a type of way. I'm not gonna, I'm just bringing it out there and just do something about it.
Yeah, I can't remember when last we had a decent grace period, like just a grace
There's-
period. It looked like I noticed everybody's scared to do the grace period of, and I ain't talking about employers to
Yeah,
employee.
yeah.
I'm talking about grace period. Everybody
Yeah.
come in. You have a month, come apply, pay
I think
taxes.
it was done like 2009, right? It's also, many years ago that was
Many
done.
years ago.
Yeah,
I think
Curaçao
under
has done
Duncan,
it too before.
under Minister Duncan, I believe.
Yeah.
But that was it. They didn't do it again. I don't know why, but anyway. So immigration is also an issue that we need to look at. But
Yeah.
it all comes down to the compassion for the population.
Humanity, compassion, empathy, understanding a person's struggle, because not all of us are fed with a silver spoon.
Yeah.
Okay? Some of us had to really struggle to get where we are today.
Yeah.
And if you are in a position where you see your community is struggling, you need to find a way, especially if you're in justice, because at the end of the day, they're going to end up in justice if you're not doing anything. Look at the rehabilitation of the prisoners. Oh God, please. Right now, Jesus needs to come because somebody needs to fix it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have a prisoner, right? He is having this disease. I can't get on a name, where he's everything is detaching bit by bit from his eye, so he's going blind. I have a message from his grandma explaining the situation because it's a heritage. So she has it. Now he has it. He is in jail. Remember, I'm saying, and I want to make this clear, when I talk about prisoners, I'm not saying to they're innocent, get them out.
Yes.
If you do the crime, you need to do the time.
Yes.
But we cannot act like they are
Animals.
in a cage. So our prison at this moment is not capable to handle him. He's blind. He's going blind.
In our care.
In our care. I have outreach from prisoners asking me, Edie, help us, help us. The guy fell from the stairs. He can't watch. They need to help him. He's still there. He's asked to be sent somewhere else, either Santo Domingo to get the treatment, or sent in the meanwhile to prolong it, or Holland or whatever. He is still there, and he's being they don't care. And I'm saying again, where is our empathy as humans? Where?
Wow.
I can give you the name and everything, but I'm not putting it. And then again, people act like I'm lying. When I talk about something, I have proof.
Okay, that's a surprise for me. All right. Thank you so much, Edie. We continue to have these wonderful interviews with you, and you open our eyes a little bit more and more every time. Good luck on the campaign, of course.
Thank you.
And of course, you going to continue going out in the community, of course.
Yes, of course I do.
And how can they contact you?
They really want to give out my number?
No, not your number,
No,
but
okay.
social media. Get into the social media handles, man.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can go on Edel Yen. Is the most difficult name ever. I don't know why my mom did it so difficult, but it's Edel
It's
Yen.
special, remember?
True. Okay, so it's Edel Yen Herenveen. You can get me on Instagram, on Facebook, and you can just send me a message. I do answer.
So nobody answers for you?
No. I answer.
Yeah.
I answer. I answer.
Yay. All right. Of course, Ms. Mary Fede is part of the United People's Party, and she will be running for this upcoming election. We continue our interviews for the road to elections 2024. Of course, we got some highlights of the education meeting that took place last week. So when we come back, we'll go to that.
No, but MP Bryson, look, MP Bryson, this is exactly why I have confidence in you. You're a very intelligent young man. I know that from day one when I met you, which I you know how that goes.
Yep.
And this is the level of discussion you need in Parliament,
That's right.
in those committees. I hope the audience and the people are listening. This is the
Parliament right here would love nothing better than to say, let's allocate 10 million guilders towards helping our issues in social needs and so on. But how are we to do that when we have all of these conditions of, well, you can't get more liquidity, you need to cut, you need to do this. Many of us feel like we're in a position where we can't fully extend our ability to legislate.
But my decision is to stay where I'm at. At the end of the day, the way that MP Rolando Bryson leads, he allows me to work. He gives me that freedom to work. It's not always a phone call of pressure or do this, do that, don't do this, and that's part of the reason that I'm able to produce.
Any of the difficulties that this government faces today, I didn't sit down, do nothing, and have my staff write press releases. No, I got up and asked myself from opposition benches, what can I do? So I read my constitution, the one I swore to uphold, which gives us the rights to bring laws, to bring amendments, interpellation rights, inquiry rights. So we asked ourselves the questions at the time, what have we done? Regardless of...
He has represented this country qua what is expected of a parliamentarian professionally, and I can align myself with that.
Simply gone through a very difficult economic time and are simply asking of the tax department an opportunity to have a payment plan. And it seems that this is really done kind of like if they feel like how you talk to them, it's extreme.
Some of them even say it's the guns on Monaco, so they won't let me play, and they blaming polio. Who they think they could fool? All we know they better do pass. Polio or no polio, man we won, we mark. Mama when they hear, they go get the carnival. Oh, all masqueraders on here. Well they didn't care if it was official, but they start turning peace on the street. And they start to jump around, and they start to tumble down, and they fall down on the ground. If you see how they care. But what was so comical in the midst of Bacchanal? Rain comes and wash out Martin Bay. Who they think they could fool? All we know they better do pass. Polio or no polio, man we won, we mark. Mama when they hear, they go get the carnival. Oh, all masquerade.
Qu'est-ce que tu fais là? Qu'est-ce que tu fais là? But sorry, no sir. They got this game tonight and I can't miss it. Me and my boy, we gotta watch the game, So I bringing this in. You check? Alright, let me watch your leg down. Watch your leg.
Sir, sorry. Why so difficult? Look, I'm watching TV here on my phone with the Tell TV Plus app. You really gotta upgrade.
Okay, so Miss, tell me about the Tell TV Plus. I hear about this.
Okay, so once you apply for Tell TV Plus,
Okay.
you can enjoy it anytime on the go.
Anytime.
Anytime.
On the go?
On the go. You simply download the app, log into your account at any time, sit back and enjoy. You will never have to miss your match.
Yo, bus driver, take me back to tell him now, please.
Tell them to never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I said to tell them
Welcome back to the Late Night Show. Now, of course, education continues to be a priority for St. Martin, especially for the election season. So, Minister Rudolph Samuel was last week in Parliament, the Committee of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports, where questions was answered. This was a continuation. Now, mind you, this meeting was stalled for about 6 months. It only get put back on the agenda now because, of course, election time. So everybody needs time to speak. Everybody needs time to make noise. Everybody needs time to talk. So we'll go to Minister Samuel, and then, of course, we'll hear from the members of the opposition and the members of government who forget that they're in government, and members of the opposition forget that they need to come with solution instead of bitching throughout the entire meeting. So here are your highlights for the Education Ministry update on what is happening in the world of education in St. Martin. It's going to be lengthy, but it's going to be worth it because everybody has something of substance to say, except the Minister of Nothing, Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport, Rudolph Samuel. If you listen to the answers and if you listen to the questions, you'll ask yourself, what? Take a look.
Chairman, indeed, the presentation is a bit long, but it is important to understand that this is a big legislation. It is a much needed legislation, and it must be presented in a way that not only the presenter understands, but also the public and also the stakeholders. And according to the schedule, we are about halfway. So as I mentioned, the most important comments that both institutions had related to the recognition of the current position of the institutions and the contribution they make to the development of St. Martin, the possibility of cooperation with different partners, the need for diversity in designated accreditation bodies, the governance of the higher education institution, and the financing of the programs or institutions.
Minister, thank you for a very comprehensive presentation. I just have a few questions right now, but I just want to make a point. I kind of disagree with the strict focus on higher education having to address our current labor market needs. I think a university's job is not to serve the job market, but to create critical thinkers who can then shape the job market. You know, the jobs we have now, with the last update on what is needed in the market, is not even really in line with global trends of what is needed globally. So I think a university, especially considering that we have USM here in the building, they should be able to offer something that elevates the jobs that are available in the market. So that, I think, would just be a comment that I had right off the bat on the principles of the law. With regards to foreign students, I just wanted to ask if there was consultation with the Minister of Justice regarding how that is handled. I'm not sure how it's handled right now, the immigration status of those students, considering that was one of the principles as well, to attract foreign students. For example, when you go to the States, you have to get the F1 visa, and anything that you may do wrong, you get arrested, you commit a crime, that's gone and you're sent back home. So how do we handle that right now, and how will it change or be handled in the future? Because you also can't have students waiting. Some of the times that we've heard even the business community complain about waiting for permits to be processed for them to be able to start their education. Article 121 mentioned that there would be permission kind of required if, for example, USM wanted to adjust their tuition fees. I understand the intent behind that because you don't want it to be too expensive, but the coverage from government, I think, is at 60% now, as mentioned in the ordinance. So if permission is needed each time USM has to increase, would that not kind of slow down the process? Wouldn't it be better to just include that, perhaps they're only allowed to increase a certain percentage? When I was going to school, most universities in the US increase tuition between 3 to 5% every year. to match, what was happening in the market itself. So maybe that could be a option. And I just wanted to ask, through you, Mr. Chairman, to the minister, in terms of the translation viability of the law. Certain terms in Dutch do not translate to the same in English. A dean in a U.S. university is not what they call a decan, in Dutch. So how is that going to be handled moving forward when we apply it to USM in the context of this law? And that's it for me for now, Mr. Chairman.
Whether this document has served as a basis for the further preparation of the draft law which is before us today. The research paper, The Development of Tertiary Education on St. Martin. Mr. Chairman, I noted with interest the reference by the minister to the NIPA institution. And I want to ensure that I understood the minister clear in terms of NIPA not being considered higher education or NIPA not being part of this law here now on higher education. There's a difference therein.
I also had questions about the attraction or attracting more foreign students, because I've heard this for a while. However, I would like to know what joint policies or agreements exist between justice and education, because we want to attract foreign international students, but it's going to be an issue once they arrive or even getting here in terms of a residence permit and so on. So is this just a line in the presentation, or was any work actually done on this concept about international students? A strong positioning of students was also mentioned in the presentation as a basic principle. When it comes to accessibility, accessibility doesn't only involve funding and student loans, let's say a financial aid, but also ensuring that students, especially let's say those with disabilities, have access to higher education institutions. So I would like to know how the law provides for accessibility in detail, including students with disabilities. And I'd like to know then, how is the ministry looking to support these students as they attempt to access higher education? I would also like to know, Mr. Chair, through you, how the law promotes research and innovation in the higher education sector. We see some new programs popping up, especially at USM. How is the ministry supporting the university as we create more research opportunities for our students? In this parliament, I presented a plan for a so-called thesis library. We have such a need for capacity, especially as it concerns research. We have our students, most of them, away in the United States, in Holland, doing research on St. Martin, probably solving better than us here our policy problems, but we don't have access to that information. So how is the ministry and how does this law support research and promote research in the higher education sector, because we truly need that research and that data to promote proper policy making?
I wanted to comment on the issue of institutions of higher learning also reflecting the job market. I do agree that I don't think it should be exclusively so. I don't think that it must be a blanket rule that is the premise by which higher education is created. However, I do want to caution that it does matter what your society and your economy needs because of the other problem that we discuss in Parliament and in society, which is the fact that we're trying to lessen the number of work permits that we have to issue. And when you go through the work permit ordinances, the idea is that if there is a qualified local of the requirement stipulated by the business, then that person basically is not granted a work permit. So what you see in society and in the business community, an ad is put out and it says bachelor's degree. And that might be the issue where by not having that qualified level of a person, even though they have the experience, but maybe they just need to get that function, you have an issue within your labor situation in terms of how the law handles it there if you don't also seek means for those that have the professional skills to receive their bachelor's degree in the function that they hold. So I do think that it needs to be a balanced approach. I don't agree with maybe how it is now or how it's being proposed, that it should be a blanket issue, but I do think that at least a sort of a statement or a review of the institution's ability to provide some of those things, particularly tourism management, hospitality management, for example. Those are two that often come to mind. Business management. I think that is something that can be offered locally. So the department should receive some type of assessment from the institution about its ability to provide some of those functions as well.
Again, going back to the focus on attracting foreign students, is there going to be a tiered fee structure allowed for USM? Because in the US, you pay higher fees if you're an international student. At UE, if you have a CARICOM passport, it's subsidized up to a point. But if I were to try to go to UE, I would be paying a pretty hefty increase in fees. So will there be a tiered fee structure? And again, I think I'd like to thank my colleagues for kind of agreeing with my point on the job market should not dictate what USM is able to do. And to just touch a bit on the work permit point, I think that kind of proves the whole point of USM being able to expand the offering and shape the job market. Right now, when you see certain work permits placed in the paper, sent to the Department of Labor, there are little caveats, even if you have the required degree. I have a master's. I've seen positions requiring a master's, but requiring that I also be able to speak a certain language. So maybe you could go to USM for that particular degree and also made minor in Mandarin, French, or Turkish. So that's just to kind of say that, you have to be able to allow the university to expand what they're able to offer to combat that whole work permit debacle. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, members of parliament. The minister has indicated that he would require at least 3 weeks to get the answers to the questions that were posed. So we will take note of that and be in touch with the minister in terms of the continuation of this Central Committee meeting.
That is it for the Late Night Show. Thank you so much for watching. Until tomorrow, do have a safe and pleasant one. Bye-bye.